I don't want to make a prediction exactly as to what's going to happen in the second half of the year. You know, we're likely to see another year in which 12-month inflation numbers remain very uncomfortably high.
So that was a very, if you ask me, important video from Janet Yellen, which we're going to cover in this video. And we actually have so much more to cover in this video because welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News, where we cover all the most important crypto news every single day for you on the interwebs, on this channel. Yeah. So if you guys enjoyed that though, make sure you press that like button. And I actually got a really couple of cool topics here because there's so much happening. There's a lot of variety, but there's some very important announcements for tomorrow that you need to be aware of, you need to think about right now. So we have to cover that first, and then we'll get into the more side stuff. So there's actually one fun post that I saw over on Twitter a little bit early today. It was actually from Cointelegraph, and they said this is going to be a big week. Got me thinking, it's the truth. It is going to be a big week. It's already been. Of course, we had the MiCA, basically the proof of work announcement in Europe. We've had quite a couple of different companies move to Dubai, where we're at, luckily. FTX moved, Binance moved. There's so much happening in the crypto space, specifically if you look at the inflation as well and how it kind of relates back. A lot of announcements that are in the background, but I thought maybe, just maybe, Cointelegraph meant Twitter. Ripple, but I'm most likely thinking they mean like the Fed stuff. But take a look. So Rand, for example, shared today on my show, we were talking about Ripple. I understand if you don't tune in, which I think is kind of like a childish. I'm not exactly sure why you do so, but hey, it is Twitter. It is the Wild West, if you know what I mean. So he can go right on ahead. I thought for a second it might be that, but no. To be honest with you, I think it must all come back down over to the inflation. Little fun fact, I actually recorded this video before, but just because the door, by the way, it's like 1:40 a.m. Just because there was like a ding dong and like a knock on the door like 3 times in a row, I was like, man, this is too unprofessional now. But I digress. Ahead of the US Fed meet, experts gaze into their rate hike crystal balls. Here's what they foretell. Now, a little introduction. Financial markets will look to the Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC, meeting for a timeline by which the U.S. Central Bank will pair its bond holdings, guidance for future rate hikes, forecasts on GDP growth, and inflation. As you guys probably all know, inflation has been at a record high, 7.9%, which is basically the highest since 1982. Some people are thinking it's going to be a interesting rate hike of about 50 base points. Some others are saying, well, it's the craziest inflation we've seen in like 40 years, but it's going to be a little bit lower. But then again, others are saying, well, no, you have the unemployment at 3.8%. The labor market is already tight, so it was a policy error to add more securities to the Fed's balance sheet in December, February, even if the increase were occurring at a slower pace than in the previous months. Everything has been bad, blah, 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 blah. But the general consensus is this little story. We expect the Fed to be obliged to raise the Fed fund rate at every one of its remaining meetings this year, taking the target Fed funds rate of 1.75% by the end of 2022, which in my opinion is still pretty low, implying there will be at least one hike of 37.5 base points to normalize the rate. It's going to be a very interesting battle next couple of months. Evolvings. And I personally think we can start trying to look at whatever indications we have been given for the rate hikes. But hey, we're not really the finance people in this nature. We're more so crypto people. So we more so want to think, what does it imply for a crypto? 10-year bond yields, just rates and anything like that. It's not really been proven that there's a 1-to-1 correlation or 1-to-1 correlation. So it's kind of hard to say exactly what we should fetch from this, what we should do with it. And I know the picture was like a little bit out of, not perfectly in the frame just now, but who gives a crap. Let's just conclude for now that tomorrow's going to be a big day in that regard. And before I forget, make sure you follow me over on Twitter. I actually just posted a profile picture of me on there. which is a big change. I'm trying to do more on Twitter, just trying to get in there, trying to post as many useful things as possible, trying to retweet as many things, trying to share all the news wherever I find it. So if you guys enjoy that stuff, make sure you check my Twitter out. A link will be down below. I also shared this video, for example. But then again, I also have an Instagram, which I just changed my picture for as well, just for it to be really me, so you guys can kind of connect with me a little bit better. If you want to talk about something, just shoot me a message, but don't just shoot, hey, write actually something so I have something to respond to. Also, TikTok, again, I'm trying to get a little bit more into that. It's not really for me, but I'm trying to get more and more into that as well. But let's come back to this video from just now. If the inflation is getting worse, I would say that this is actually just a very bullish sign for Bitcoin, XRP, and all these things. At the end of the day, we're talking now about the rate hikes, the rate increases. But it all kind of stems from the central problem, which is the crazy, ridiculous amount of inflation that is out there. And if some of these higher-ups are also saying, well, inflation will most likely be the same, if not higher, that's really scary. That's really something weird to think about, specifically if you realize that it's already been ridiculously high. Here's, for example, Cameron Winklevoss, and I don't really like what he posts most of the time, but this was funny. Imagine paying a money manager 7.9% a year to do absolutely nothing with your money. That's kind of what inflation is. It's a hidden management fee that comes with absolutely no return. Today, if you hold USD cash, you are paying the US government 8% basically to do nothing with your money. It's kind of scary. It really is. The chairman from Wall Street Bet said they take your money via inflation and then take even more with taxes. It's kind of funny to think about, but that is actually really scary if you start thinking about it, right? The fact that absolutely nothing is going on there. Now, let's keep that on one side because we can talk about that for hours and hours, but let's talk about some more crypto news, right? So Rand said he wants to talk about XRP. I don't know what he was talking about. I saw this picture. I thought maybe... Let's move on. Perry had something interesting to say. He said, good morning. I was given the chance to put £1,000 into Bitcoin in 2015. I didn't. You have the chance to be part of something very special with XRP. These chances do not come around very often. Haven't made the same mistake twice. XRP Ledger. At the end of the day, guys, I am never going to give you financial advice. Whatever I do is just my opinion and it's what I am doing with my money. I try to share the best tips that I can or the most fun parts about investing, but at the end of the day, it's all just what I am doing that you might follow because you understand the risks and you just want to kind of do what I do, but it doesn't have to end up well. But I do honestly believe to the core that everybody who's hating on XRP right now will eventually kind of come back on that and think, ooh, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't have done that. We're starting to see that in many different corners already. Piece by piece, I'm starting to notice it more and more and more. A lot of these guys are kind of like pulling back a little bit on the gas pedal. By the way, it's not only us that are talking about inflation or the news articles. It's also Elon. He just said, what are your thoughts about the probable inflation rate over the next few years? Tesla and SpaceX are seeing significant recent inflation pressure in raw materials and logistics. And we're not alone. And I believe they actually are increasing their prices, which is actually kind of crazy to think about. I just saw a breaking announcements of the sort. Then again, to stay on topic with the previous one reason I just told you guys that I think a lot of XRP haters will eventually switch over is purely because I just think they do not understand the implications of what it means to be sued by the SEC for a crypto company. I think the majority of people that are hating on XRP or who are rooting with the SEC and all of this, they just really don't understand the fact that it's not a battle between SEC versus Ripple only. It's SEC versus a cryptocurrency. At the end of the day, whatever you think of that crypto, centralized piece of garbage, unregistered security, Ethereum factually was a security before. It's a fact. Nobody's going to deny that. The only thing that it has added for themselves is that they're not anymore. I would like to agree with that. But it was for certain. Now, the lawsuit is not alleging that XRP is currently a security. It's actually only alleging that XRP has been sold as one. I then again would like to come back on the point that a lot of people will kind of come back on their words when they finally start to realize that it's not really such a maximalist type of battle. It's not really like an egoistic, whatever, I don't know the English word for it, type of thing. it really is a little bit deeper than that. And at the end of the day, I just think they'll win. I think it will do really amazing. And it's so fun to see these battles continue on. I'd also like to briefly share the Bitcoin chart for right now. As I just told you guys, there's going to be an extremely important update in, I would say, the world over the next couple of hours. As again, Wednesday has been here. It's about 2 a.m. right now. Within a couple of hours, we'll take a little bit, maybe like 16 hours from now, the Fed is going to be doing something. The meeting's going to be critical, and we do expect some volatility. Now, on Twitter yesterday, during this time, it's actually already a couple days ago, holy smokes, I was telling you guys I am expecting some crazy volatility. We've actually gotten some, but still Bitcoin is just so extremely boring. We've had a fake out twice, and right now it's just still looking to break out towards either side with some confirmation on the 4-hour, and I'm just sitting tight, waiting for it to break either towards the downside or the upside. And then we're going to take the trade, as I said before, if we get a proper confirmation. But twice here, we had a breakout with no confirmation, breakout with no confirmation, so we can't do anything. Again, guys, I always wait for confirmations, as it's a probability game. You want to take the best chances of winning, and that's the only way in which I think it's like a good idea to take it. So how that works, by the way, is basically if we break towards the downside, I want to see a confirming candle, and that confirming candle is the one that's going to make me buy in afterwards. If I don't, if I just see another candle like this, there's a very high probability you're going to see exactly what happened here twice already. These two little fake outs, basically. Then again, we can still bounce from here, come right back up, bounce again, and see something going like this. It's going to be hard to say because I do believe it might all depend on what exactly comes out of this Fed situation tomorrow and how the crypto market will react. It can really go both ways. It's hard to say how the crypto market reacts. We don't have a glass ball, and I can read for you what all these analysts are predicting, but even then, I cannot really measure properly if they were wrong or right because we literally do not know if this time around the crypto market will act inversely to the stock market or directly correlating with it again, as it's literally just a shift every week. So I'm trying my best to kind of get these things in an easy fashion out to y'all, but right now it's just so difficult. But be prepared for some crazy volatility. Be watching the charts right now. I would recommend everybody to kind of focus specifically during the announcement time, which might be early in the morning US time, but keep watching it, keep focused. It's going to be a crazy time. And then again, hopefully we can get a juicy trade over on Bybit in shortly and make some juicy gains out of it. But that was it for today, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. There will be another video coming out in a couple of hours, so stick around and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely see you guys again in another crypto video later today.